Big or small, yappy or quiet, all shapes and sizes, and that's just the owners. Throw all of our individual dogs into the mix with their different personalities, characters, loves and dislikes, and it's easy to see that in dog training, no one size fits all. There are so many variables in dog training to consider. Even in my own career, I've gone from being buried in the snow as a decoy, waiting hours for the search and rescue dogs to please find me, to working with rescue pit bulls in South Africa, puppy classes in Australia, detection dogs in the Middle East, and in and out of thousands of households in England and Ireland, helping owners with their own very individual dogs, each with their very own individual problems. What we need is to create a bespoke solution for your dog and your circumstances. The way you'll do that is not to look for one-off recipes or solutions, but to focus on what I like to call the 7 active ingredients. We will visit these 7 active ingredients time and time again throughout this book. Understand and apply these ingredients to any behaviour you want more of, or indeed any behaviour you want less of, and you'll be on the right track to a happier life with your dog. Active ingredient 1, reinforcement. Reinforcement occurs as a consequence to a behaviour and makes that behaviour more likely to occur in the future. Put simply, if you ask your dog to do something, make sure you pay them well. Active ingredient 2, mutually exclusive behaviours, known as MEBs. I'm not in the business of telling the dog what not to do. I'm in the business of reinforcing the behaviours I do want instead. A mutually exclusive behaviour is simply a behaviour that while the dog is doing it, they physically can't also be doing the unwanted behaviour at the same time. A classic example would be if your dog jumps up to you to say hello, we're going to heavily treat your dog for sitting when you arrive. Your dog can't jump up at you with their butt on the ground. Active ingredient 3, associations. How a dog feels is far more important than what a dog does. Now, I appreciate that may not seem the case when you're holding onto a lamppost to try and stop your dog from barking and lunging at another dog. However, that unwanted behaviour may be occurring because your dog has a negative association to the presence of other dogs. By changing the association, which changes how the dog feels, we'll change the behaviour. We'll teach your dog to feel good about the presence of other dogs, and if we understand the ingredients, we can also help with the presence of postmen, kids, and who knows, maybe even cats. Active ingredient 4, control and management. The first rule of any training program is to not let the unwanted behaviour occur and get reinforced. That's why control and management is so important. We don't want to try and run before we can walk, so it's important that we don't put the dog in a position of being reinforced somehow by doing unwanted behaviours. If you call your dog and they don't come to you, we don't want them to be inadvertently reinforced by them running off to play with other dogs. In this instance, good control and management will be a long line attached to their harness so you can stay in contact. If your dog gets a reinforcing cuddle when jumping up at untrained visitors at the door, then good control and management dictates that you pop your dog in the kitchen before opening the door. Good, reliable training takes a little bit of time to spin the wheels before you get any traction, but control and management works instantly. Don't see control and management as avoiding the problem, seeing it as stopping the problem occurring. Active ingredient 5, cues. Cues are simply what triggers a behaviour from your dog. Stop, cues, freeze no matter what, if you've listened to this book. Come, cues, run to the monkey for good times, if you've listened to this book. Ding dong, at the front door, cues, oh my god, emergency, emergency, scream, murderer, if you've not yet listened to this book. Active ingredient 6, the 3 Ds. It's one thing to call your dog from 5 metres, but from 50 metres? Sure, you may be able to ask your dog to sit quietly in front of you, but can they sit quietly in front of a child who is messily eating an ice cream? We're going to teach our dogs a lot of behaviours on cue. At first, we'll set a nice, low, achievable bar so your dog can hit the desired criteria to earn reinforcement.